Right, so kicking off my first prints on this Dalek. Just going to do the slats to start with. I'm going to need, I think, 12 of the large ones. So I sliced them in a batch of 6, and what I'm going to do, I've sent them to the Neptune 4 Maxes. And it should just take, less than 4 hours for them to print. So here's both machines. Zoom out a bit. So downloaded both, they're heating up. I've got a decent amount of filament on the first one. This one's probably going to need a filament change at some point during it. But yeah, I'll let them crack on while I slice up some other pieces. Perhaps get the small slats going on the Centauri Carbon. Right, next up, while the slats print, just because I've got some black loaded in the Centauri Carbon, I'm going to do the suction cup for the arm. So slice that up nice and fine, just so I get a smooth finish. And that's going to take less than 3 hours. So I'm going to take that over here. Weird thing, got to do it on a memory stick because I've already got one client running over there. I can't have 2 versions of the same client running on the same machine. Yeah, I've got 2 monitors on the same computer, just in case you were wondering. So I can run multiple clients, but I can't connect to the printers from 2 clients. When the first one activates, it hogs the wireless printing. And the second one, you can slice, you can put it on a memory stick, but you can't see the network printers. It tells you to go and do it on the first instance that's running. Weird, but hopefully it might be something they'll fix at some other point. But anyway, so it's on the memory stick there, so let's come in here, hit file, USB drive. Come on. There we go. Suction cup. There we go. Textured plate. We'll have it level and hit print. So, right, let that go and get on with it and see how that comes out. There's not much contact because of the shape of the suction cup to the plate, although it is circular, so I'm hoping that it gives it some decent adhesion and it doesn't come sliding off. We'll find out because I haven't used any brim or support. So it's fingers crossed, folks. Right, probably not the best time to be printing, so I've got these 2 running away. This one's working on the Liberator. Centauri Carbon's running there, and we've got thunder and lightning outside, so I'm just waiting for the power cut to happen. So I guess we'll be testing power loss recovery on a couple of these shortly. Right. Yeah, well, yeah, sucker didn't stick to the bed. I guess there wasn't enough contact there to hold it, especially when the machine got up to full speed. So anyway, quick failure. So let's have a look. How are we going to do this one? Supports, enable, slice. Let's see what it does. Interesting. Really don't think it needs supports up there, but this around the brim might do it. So let's go here. Let's support painting, and oh no, I don't want to do that much. Undo that. lateral angle. Let's take us down to there. Oh, for God's sake. No. Just 2. Ah, there we go. That's more like it. Slice plate. Alright. Like that. I wonder if it was not making full contact around there. I don't know. Anyway, that looks like it'll hold it down. Let me go and get the file and or the USB stick and try this again. Alright, coming to the end of the slats here. I got this one on 99%. This one on 98. This one slowed down a bit because I had to change spools on this one. Let's go and see how the toilet plunger's doing for the Dalek. And this one's stuck down using that little bit of extra support. It's doing good. Also slowed it down as well, so it wasn't trying to vibrate its way off the table. It's looking very nice. It's a very good layer there. Like I said, I did slice this with a 0.12 layer height. It looks very, very nice. There we go. We'll leave that finish off. That will need probably another hour or so. Let's see how these are doing. Looks like the last slat finishing there. There we go. That's 6 complete. And those will finish off in about another minute. And then I can slice up some more stuff and leave them running overnight. And then I'll get back to you all in the morning. Alright folks, good night. Well, I had to hang on because I wanted to see this thing finish, and finish it has. Firm. So there we go. Let's take the plate off. So there's my Dalek sucker. Right, we'll go get this off the bed and see how it looks. Right, so there it is, complete. I'm going to have to give it a fine sand in here where it was face down on the bed, just to smooth off the marks there. And that hole there is where the sucker will attach to the arm with some glue. But yeah, I'm going to stick this over here with the slats for now. I'll let that sit there till the morning, and then one last look back here. So there's a test ball for the skirt coming off. Hell of a seam line on that, and I'll adjust that, and I can definitely do that with a lot less infill. So it's one adjustment I'll make when I go into the mass production. And then of course the slats here are 68% done. They'll be ready in the morning. Right, definitely going to bed now. Good night. Hey, Thursday morning, and let's take a look at the prints for this Dalek. So here's the bed cooled down overnight, so I don't even have to get them off with a razor. There's the short slats, because I've got to get the mouse ears off. I'll take care of that with a bit of sandpaper later. So 6 of those, pop them over here. So this was a test hemisphere, there we go, which will go onto the Dalek casing. So Ian's design had 3 of them. One of them, or 2 of them actually, have this one with the lip, which to me is brilliant, because that means you print the side of the casing, which will, the lower section, which will be in 2 halves, I hope, by the time he slices it all back together. And then this ball, once you've done it, just simply pushes in through the holes, and that lip stops it going in too far, and then you can glue them in place in the casing. Or perhaps the tolerance would be tough enough where you just simply have to wiggle it in and they'll stay. Who knows? But anyway, so I did this just to take a look at it, and one thing I'm going to have to play with is this seam line. There you go, see it right there? So that's the seam, which will need a bit of sanding. So for the Genesis Dalek, I'll actually use black PLA, so hopefully I won't even have to paint the things. I'll just produce mass trays of these, just like on the new series Dalek, probably 9 to a tray. Get both these machines running and spit them all out. But yeah, black PLA should sort that out. Right, so what the heck shall I slice next? Let me go and give that some thought. Right, next in line, we've got the rings that will go on the Dalek eye stalk. It's the little cluster of circles that get gradually larger and smaller about halfway down the stalk. So just sent these to the Neptune 4 Max there, so I can print those off, and I'm probably going to look at trying to do some of these tubes as well while I'm waiting, because I've got the eye pieces at the moment, front and back. I'm going to do them on the Centauri Carbon, because I've got black filament in there. In fact, I think one piece is just finished. Let's have a look. Yep. It's not coming off easy. Come on. There we go. So that's the rear of the eye. So let me go and get the front of that printing. Right, one more piece. And I've also been emailing Ian Hughes down in Australia, because he's working on the full-size pieces for the Dalek, which means having to combine the small ones together so that the big machines can do them in a massive chunk. So I just sent him a please, can you do one of the skirts, because I asked for the skirt to be combined into a front and rear section, just like it was on the gold new series Dalek that I printed. I want to get one of them done and printed on the Giga, and then take my test ball, stick it in the slots, in the holes, just to make sure that this fits correctly. The last thing I want to do is print a bunch of these and find out that A, they don't fit in the hole, or B, they fall straight through. So keep my fingers crossed that they'll have some time at some point to run one of them off, and then I can go into mass production of the hemispheres. Right, let's go see what I can do next. Right, so I made a project of all the pieces that would actually fit on the FLSun T1. There's a lot of cylindrical bits and that'll fit on that round bed, and the arm parts, or the ball joints. So just to try it out, I've got this one here, which is part of the gun. It's just a simple cylinder, needs to be printed upright. So I've sent that to the printer. It's warming up at the moment. I'll let it get on with it and see how it comes out. So just getting these little bits going on whatever machines are handy, and let it crack on. Alright, front of the eye section. Oh, come on. Thought it would have come off. Hate putting these plates back. There. Come on. Gold. Alright, gonna need both hands to get this off you. Let's take a look at this. It's all those supports on the bottom are making it stick. So, bunch of tree supports in there. There we go. Support removal done easy. Alright, so that's the front. There's the rear. So that will just pop on like that and glue together. Easy enough. We've got to get a lens to print to go in there. Let's keep that safe. Meanwhile, on the T1, looks like the cylinder piece is complete, so I'm going to go through to the garage, take that off the plate. Okay, so print complete. There we go. So this will be sprayed a single color. Can't remember, is this meant to be grey or black or silver? I'll have to check it out. Anyway, take that off there. This thing's ready to print another piece. Okay. Just take the raft off the bottom there, which I put on just to give it a bit of extra support. There we go. You get a bit of sandpaper and rub those little pieces off. Right, next bit. Right, I forgot what I was printing on that T1. That was the gun section. So here's another piece. This is ones with the holes in to take the egg whiskey bits. So put a few tree supports in there because there's that band at the bottom that needs to be supported. Let me slice this up. This is a 50-minute print. So upload and print, off it goes. There we go. We'll let it remotely print. I'll check on it in a few minutes, make sure everything's good and it's clinging. Whoa, down goes the print head. Yeah, we'll let it get on with it. Right, so here's the completed rings. going to have to do a little bit of filing on them and possibly make some spaces so that when these slide onto the eye stalk, there's something to keep them apart. That'll be a nice easy job on Tinkercad. Right, and then over here it looks like that piece of the gun is finished on the T1, so I've got to take it off there and then I can do the second piece. Right, so there's the first piece off the T1. Let's just slice and send this, upload and print. Alright, get that second bit going. That's easy. Alright, so on the Genesis Dalek, the first large piece I'm going to do on the Giga is going to be the dome section, as Ian's already combined that into one piece for me. So taking a look at this, I mean, it's a simple enough model. You can see there's a lip inside, and we'll need supports up to the bottom of that lip, but nothing else should need them. So I went in, let's have a look at the preview and the slice. So the slice says 1 day, 18 hours, and about 2.5K of filament. And you can see inside here, if I flip it upside down, the green is the tree supports that have been generated up into that lip. Nothing else will need supports. It'll hopefully print just like that. So I'm just going to export that file now to a thumb drive. Okay, here it is, Dome Rapid PLA Plus. So I'm using Rapid PLA Plus, 10% infill, no brim, and we'll see how that goes down. So let me go and take that through to the printer and get it going. I've left the bed preheating, and we'll see if this first layer goes down and sticks. Alright, so powered up the OrangeStorm Giga. I've let the bed heat up for about 20 minutes. Loaded up some Elegoo Rapid PLA Plus, which I'll use for printing. So I've put the USB stick in there. So here's the dome that I'm going to print. So let me confirm that. Now, last thing I printed on this was Lieutenant Ellis. So this machine's been idle for about 4 weeks here. So let it go through the homing process, let it heat up the hot end, and see if I need to adjust the Z offset at all, which would be this screen. Right now it's at minus 2.55. We'll see how that feels. Print head heated, the bed plates all coming up. Oh, let's have a look. Yeah, just waiting on those bed plates to come up to, I think, 65. I think I preheated to 60. Shouldn't take too long. That's 64. There's the nozzle heading up to 220. And we should be off. So let's see what this layer feels like when it goes down. Feels a bit high to me. So just lowered it a little bit. It feels alright. Okay, so I'm just going to let it start putting that down, and then I'll come in and make sure everything's sticking right, and then we can let it carry on with the print. So I'll come back in about 5 minutes, see how it's doing. Alright, so I've been leaving it running. Just come in to have a check, make sure everything's fine. So as you can see, I'll try and see, because of course we're printing black onto a black plate. The bits in the center there with those round bits, that's the tree supports, and that outer ring there, that is the actual dome. And right now everything looks like it's stuck, so let's hope it stays that way, and I'll come back and check on it in an hour. I left this run for a couple of hours, so everything's sticking good. You see the tree supports there all anchored down nicely, and the circular dome section all holding down well. So I'm going to let that keep on running. I've just put some metallic silver PETG on the FLSun T1, so I'm going to go and make the ball joints for the gun and the arm, using this stuff, because I want to use silver, because if you use a different color and then paint it, it'll rub as you twist and move the arms and guns around. So you want to use the actual color that you want and not paint it. Alright, so let me go and slice up the pieces and leave this thing running, and we'll check on this before I head to bed. So there's the two halves of the ball joint. So I've sliced them up. They're going to take about an hour and 37 minutes each, and I've remotely sent them to the printer. So there's the first one coming off now. Of course this is PETG, because that's what I could find a nice metallic silver on out of my supplies. So hopefully it'll come out nicely. We shall check on it later. Meanwhile, of course, over on this side, keep an eye on the dome section. Right. Monday morning, let's check on the Giga first. So here's the dome, and as you can see, supports are coming along nicely there. Shouldn't be too much longer before that top shelf part goes over the top, and then it will really speed up. So filament wise, well, all I can say is I do have filament on there. Looks like that might be running out soon, so I better try and dig up some more to replace it. Let's have a look at the FLSun, and there's that first hemisphere for the ball joint. Take that off there. And There we go. So, yeah, that came out okay. So I'll run off the other half of this, and then I should be able to start doing the spokes for the gun on the resin printer, and at least assemble the gun part. Right, let's go see what else is going on. Right, so second piece of the ball joint complete. So, quite like this metallic silver. It's looking pretty nice. But so I'm going to do the ones for the arm as well while I've got the filament loaded up here. May as well run them all off. So back in, slice them, and print. Right, so making some changes to Ian's STL files here for his gun. So that's the main gun section. You notice these holes here, and that's where the, for want of a better word, the wire egg whiskey looking bits will plug in at either end and come out and go over and back in that end. And there's the design there. Now with Ian's design, there was two of them, 1, 2, and you have to join them together with a little piece in the center and then glue them. So what I did is brought them into Tinkercad, and I've pushed the ends together, created a third piece of the same diameter as the tube, pushed that up, and then turned it all into one solid piece and exported it. So what we have now is what I've called the Dalek gun whisk, which would be a single piece that I can load into the slices and see how I can best produce that. Now on the new series Dalek, I did them in 2 pieces and joined them together, which is why I'm trying to avoid it, and I made them out of resin, because they're easier to do that way. You know, if you try and put a curved surface on a bed plate, they don't stick well and they end up coming off. So the resin printer did them good. Now the question is, on the Saturn 4, can I angle them to sort of like 45 degrees and actually produce a single one on that build area? I don't know. So let's go and have a look. I'll go and load up the satellite slicer and bring this in. Now I've exported it from Tinkercad, and see if it might fit. Okay, so here's the file in the slicer, and as you can see, it's big. Let's see if there's any way this thing can rotate. Right, let me go and have a play with this and see what I can do, if anything. I'm thinking diagonally, sort of that way, where if I can squeeze it on. Right, let's have a go. And it's a miracle. It works. So the build plate, if you put it at a steep enough angle, you can get all 8 on there for the resin printer on that Elegoo Saturn 4 Ultra, and of course Elegoo Saturn 4 as well, 16K. They've all got the same build size. So, right, so I'm going to try and slice this up and see if I can print it in one go with a bunch of supports. Let's see if it works. Right, so here's the sliced file with the supports. Alright, we'll see how well this works. Oh God, this is going to be fun. Alright, I'm going to go and load up the resin printer now and give it a go. So I've sent the file remotely to the printer here. I've loaded it up with some Elegoo water washable V2 yellow resin. It's stuff I've had good results with. That's what this thing's made out of. So, of course, solid model, thick supports just because of the angle, and I guess it's keep your fingers crossed time. Let's see what this thing can do. Anyway, so moving on for the rest of the Dalek here. So T1's just finished the last ball joint. Oop. That's the one for the arm. So I've got the two pieces there. That's the arm taken care of. Let's see if I can do anything else there. Dome. That's got to be close to putting down the lip on the inside, because that's the very top of the tree support, and that's looking very dense. So it must be about there. Let's see how the. Whoop. Oh, so there we go. So we're down to that last line of filament there. We'll see how much further this goes before it stops. Meanwhile, I did find somewhere around here. Here we go. A 1 kilogram spool of black Rapid PLA, which is the same as what's on that 5 kg spool there. So at least I can continue with exactly the same stuff. I don't have to worry about any changes in temperature. Right, so I'm going to let that run for a while, come in, check on it, and obviously do a filament change before long. Alright, catch you later. I'm back in again to check on the dome. It's still putting that lip down at the moment, but I got hardly anything left on this reel, so that's about to run out in a couple of minutes. Made a couple of joiners for the gun barrel for the Dalek. So these two pieces are just inserts that'll go inside the, let's close that up, that'll go inside the tubes, so I can do them together. I've actually made 3 of them. I've already done one just to test the size was right, and that fitted perfectly inside the barrels. They're 19 millimeters OD, so matches the ID of the gun barrels perfectly. And can't really see what's going on with this at the moment. 21% complete. We'll probably get a good look at the underside of the plate in about an hour or so, and then we can see how much of it is actually clung to it. Hopefully all of it, we shall see. Well, enough of this came out that I could see it didn't stick to the build plate, so I'm about to go and cancel this print and try again. Alright, so filament change done. Here's my small spool up there. So like I say, it's exactly the same stuff, same properties, same heat suggestions, so we'll just let that carry on. Meanwhile, I'm about to go and clean the vat in here, because there's the pieces of what should have printed stuck to the bottom of the film. So let me go and get in there and fix that. Alright, so just to make it worse, so I peeled off the stuff on the bottom of the tray, and look at the nice big holes in the PEI sheet that came with it. So thankfully I keep a spare bed and spare PEI sheets, but I'm going to swap this bed out and put another one down there, and then try and do the print again. Perhaps the sheet had deteriorated at the bottom of this, or well, who knows what. This was the one that I had trouble with that killed the Saturn 4 because it had leaked into the LED screen. So perhaps that's why it was leaking, as the bottom of it was compromised, although I don't see any trace of liquid on this, thank goodness. Alright, let me go and change the vat out and get it printing again. Look at this beauty. So that lip is going down great. So once it's finished doing that, it'll really speed up, because then it's only got to do the outer shell. And I replaced the vat over here with a spare. Then I can go and take my time changing out the film on that broken one. And I hate replacing those films because it's a million flaming hex screws you got to undo in order to change it. But oh well, such is life. I'm just lucky I keep a spare. I really do recommend, if you get into resin printing, get a spare vat. It can make life easy, especially if you're swapping between water washable, regular resins, or even clear. Because I've got another spare vat over here, but I keep that purely for my clear resin, so I don't get any contamination on the colors. So anyway, let's see if this one will do any better. I put a lot more supports on this one, so I'm hoping it'll cling better. I do see some supports. Not as many as I was expecting though. I got a feeling this one might have gone a bit wrong as well, but we shall see. Perhaps I need to do them in fewer numbers. Oh well, let's see how this one goes. I mean to check on this, and sure enough, this time I see lots of supports, which is how I re-sliced this. So, and I can hear that good old thunk. Listen to it now. And that's it detaching from the film. So yeah, this one looks like it's working all right. Let's not jinx it. So I'm just going to close the lid, let that continue printing, and what's it, 15% complete, and 7.5 hours left to go, so that won't be finished till the morning. Back over here, it's still working on that lip. We're up to 62%. So once again, this will probably run all night, so I'm going to turn the light off and just let it keep on running, and we will check on it tomorrow morning. All right, good night. So I had a power outage during the night, which I just noticed on my Liberator model. flipping 6 days into a 7-day print, and sure enough, come in here and this one's ground to a halt too. Shit. This is where I turn the whole thing off, back on, and hope. Oh, damn, it did this before Marvin and it never would restart properly without a shift. This might not be good. Oh. Damn it, damn it, damn it. On the plus side, at least it looks like this finished. So that's the pieces for the gun. I'll get them into the wash tank in a bit. Okay, system booting. Resume printing. I said last time this happened I had a layer shift with Marvin. Which I think was due to a blob of plastic stopping the head going back to the right position. And of course there's always the chance that the dome has come loose as well. So of course we've got to heat the bed up. I'm ready with a set of snips. These snips are bad ones. I need a good set of snips. Where's my good ones? Alright, well I'm going to leave this as it is for the moment, and I'll come back to you once things have heated up and it's about to restart. Alright. So you can see where there was a little blob there where the head was resting. I cut that off because I think last time that's what was causing the head not to go back to the right position. And let me zoom in and show you. See it right there. And as a result, last time it kept giving me an error on the screen here about the head not being able to home right. And then eventually it did it, but with a layer shift. Let's see what... There's a shift. I can feel it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a shift of about 1 millimeter. Jeez. That sucks. Oh, I guess I'm going to have to stop this and restart the whole flaming print. It could have also have been the fact that this was completely loose on the bed too. And just sliding around. So the head could have moved it that flaming millimeter when it came back, but there you can see it had moved and everything had come off the bed. It was just sat there. Well, when I touched it, it slid. So, 2-day wasted print. Right, gonna have to clean this up and start again. Right. So I've loaded up brand new spool of Jayo PETG, because I've got a bunch of it up there, as you can see. Resprayed the bed and cleaned it. Of course, I did the original slice for PLA, so I'm going to have to go back in, and I can't just hit print again. I'm going to have to change the temperatures for the filament and the bed. So let's just get this new filament flowing through, and then I'll go and do the slicing and get it running. So, God, what a waste of probably $50 of filament and 2 days of time and effort. Oh, and I need to straighten that spool out. It's too far off to the side as well. There's the old black PLA coming out. Here's the new PETG. Let's just do one more of these. Clear that nozzle. Alright, I'm going to go and sort that out at the back and reslice. So resliced the dome for PETG and just sent it remotely. So I'm just going to see what see what this does on the purge line, and then watch the first layer go down. Let's see what this is like. At least this white filament should stand out a bit more than the previous black one. Come on. Oh, what's it doing? Oh, I've got to heat the bed up a bit more. So I set the bed for 80. Nozzle's going to be 250, I think. Come on. It's almost there. Oh, there's the nozzle temp going up. Right, let's see what's happening here. Feels pretty good. Yeah, let's see how that goes down, and we'll come back and check on it in about 20 minutes or so. Meanwhile, in the washing station, there's the pieces for the Dalek gun in amongst a ton of supports. And an area where I can put this thing down. So there's 2 on this, and there's 3 each on the other ones, but you can see there's the piece there. So now it's been sliced as one whole part, and these will go into either end of the gun. I hope they're the right size. Should have brought the gun in to check. But yeah, got to clean up all the supports, get them off, and there's the other 6 pieces in there. Right, that'll have to do until I get back from the bar. From St. Patrick's Day downtown, so I've had several beers, actually more than several. So anyway, this has been running quite nicely, so everything's looking good. We're back to 18%. Oh, please, no more power cuts. Just keep on printing. Yeah, there's the poor. I mean, I can't believe it got that close. That close. I mean, we're talking a couple more hours and it'd have been finished, but bugger. Anyway, keep on going. Yeah, we'll see how it looks in the morning. But so Wednesday night comes to an end. Time for bed. So just checking in here, so 69%. Everything's going down nicely. Getting a beautiful finish with this PETG, nice and glossy. So I'll let that carry on. Some Dalek parts just out the washer. I'll pull them out in the morning, get those last 2 bits I need for the gun. Guess I can turn this off Oh, actually, I might send something printing tonight, so let's see what I could throw in there. Well, I got the resin loaded. Alright, we'll check on this in the morning. Good night all. Alright, so I've been cleaning up the egg whiskey parts for the Dalek gun, and I thought I'd messed up because when I assembled the gun rods, I then took one of these, popped it in the holes, and it was short. And I was like, how the heck did I do that? And I was about to go and reprint the gun barrel, and suddenly I had a brainwave. It was one of the pieces, which I thought was the handle to go on the back, was shorter than the rest. So all I'd done is I put the three pieces in the wrong order. I just assumed that the ones with the holes went back to back, which made it too long. But no, you've got the one with the holes at the front, and then you have the short piece, and then the one with the holes comes onto the back of that, and then the rest of that becomes a handle. And I thought that was the barrel part, so big mistake there. But as you can see, fits into the holes perfectly. Got another 5 here, so I've got 6 in total, and I've got some more spares that I then ran off last night in the washing station, which I'm going to have to take out and clean up, and then I should be able to start gluing them in place. Anyway, so let's go into the gym and see how the Dalek dome is doing. Right, so Thursday morning Dalek dome, and like I say, we've passed the point where the other one failed. You can see it neatly bridged over the top of the slot there. So we're at 94%. There's about 3 more hours and it should be done. So I'm just going to let that carry on printing. Plenty of material left on the spool, so we'll check on it later. Alrighty, so after 48 hours and 53 minutes, we've got ourselves a dome. Yay! So let's see if it's cooled down yet. Oh, not yet. Still stuck on that. Won't be free before long. I'll prise it off. Right, so let's hit the back button there. So next up, I'm gonna go for either the front or rear skirt section, because once I can put that test ball that I'd printed a while back in there just to make sure it fits, I can get the other machines just running off those little hemispheres and put them to some good use. Right, so I'll come back and check on this later once I can get it off there, and meanwhile I'll go and slice up one of the skirt sections. Right, so here's the final video before, but my god, that PETG was a fight to get off the bed. Yeah, luckily you couldn't hear me cursing and swearing there, but so yeah, so here it is. Looks good. There's the old one. Of course, I've still got to go and remove all the supports and that from underneath, but yeah, but that's a perfectly good dome, and that's a 0.3 layer height, so very nice. Of course, you've always got the top part there with the rings, but spray with a bit of primer there and sand that down, and that'll look great. So yeah, lovely result. I'm chuffed with that. So right, off to go and slice the skirt area, and I'll catch up with that later. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it so far.